Hi, thanks again for tuning in to our daily inspiration. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully you'll be edified with what we've put together for you here. And before we get on with this video, I'd just like to let you know that earlier this week we have ordered and delivered 5 books to 5 people who were selected for the book giveaway in April. For June's giveaway, we'll be giving away a copy of Father Vincent Lampert's book, and hopefully those who will be selected will learn so much from the book. I decided to give away Father Lampert's book because I'll be having an interview with him this coming June 6th, and I hope you'll learn a lot from that interview later on. Anyway, for this video I'd like to share you this clip from Father Carlos Martins, where he shared his conversation with a Muslim who said to Father Martins that we Christians believe in a contradiction. That Muslim is actually referring to the Trinity.
The image of God in which we are created has become incarnate within us, and it has worked tremendous wonders in the world. Think of the beauty in art, in music, that the Christian faith has given the world. Think of the gifts of service and charity, charitable works, hospitals, universities, all of these institutions that the church founded have left a tremendous mark on the world. And find for me, identify for me, another religion that has done that. And where it comes from is the fact that we were created in the image and likeness of God. And friends, when Jesus Christ imparted that to us, when we saw that God himself has become one with us so that we might become God, that we may be called into the life of the Trinity, nothing was ever the same. Nothing was ever the same. I remember I used to be a chaplain at a university, and being the campus chaplain, you run into a lot of different student groups, and one of them was a Muslim group, and a representative came over and he challenged me. He said, well, you believe in a contradiction, you believe in an absurdity. And I denied it, of course, and engaged him within a discussion. And he said the whole concept of having 3 persons in one God is an absurd concept. And I said it isn't, either theoretically nor practically. Because if our faith was false, you would be able to show me a contradiction. But we're talking about a divine nature. We're not talking about one apple can be 3 really distinct apples and yet be one apple at the same time. We're talking about an uncreated reality for whom different rules of logic apply. So we can't dissect God like we can dissect a created thing. We can't come to understand God like we can come to understand a created thing. But I will tell you this, and he was in perfect agreement with this. The better religion, the better aspect of revelation is the one that incarnates most of the divine, the one that bears within itself most evidence of God. And so I said to him, how many in this city here, and this was an enormous city of millions of people in which we were talking, how many of the soup kitchens in downtown are run by a Muslim group, are run by a Hindu group, are run by Buddhists, are run by any of the other religions? In fact, all of them that exist were run by Christian organizations. How many hospitals in North America or even beyond, in Europe, outside of, say, Muslim countries, right? How many of those hospitals have a Muslim founding? He couldn't identify a single one. How many charitable organizations are in town that deliver charitable goods or services to the poor that are Muslim run? And he couldn't identify a single one. But all of us, if we're going to be honest, we're going to look at when it is done, when the less fortunate are served. All of us are going to agree that it is a good and noble thing. It is an act of love. It is a divine work that is being done here. And all of these works come from the Christian faith because we have been and understand we are created in the image and likeness of God. And God himself came down to earth to show us the value of that. And this is why the church is against, in every single circumstance, for example, abortion. Because if everyone is created in the image and likeness of God, then each person, no matter how small, no matter how worthless he is in terms of a good or a value, that could be monetized or could be exploited in some manner. All of us are worth an infinite value. And what does that mean? That one single person, the most insignificant, the most humble, youngest, the most small individual in the world, is equal in value to all of us put together. This is what it means to be created in the image and likeness of God. This is something that our faith has given us.
Actually, picking up on Father Martin's talk on the Trinity there, it's okay not to understand the Trinity. In one sense, the Trinity is easy to explain. Christians believe that there is only one God, but they also believe that the Father is God, the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God. God exists as three persons, but he is not three gods. He is instead one God who exists as three equally divine, equally eternal persons, and this truth forms the central foundation and mystery of the Christian faith. But in another sense, it's not easy to explain how God can be one infinite being and three persons at the same time. Analogies that Christians often employ can easily lead to heresies if they're taken too literally. These include the three-leaf clover, which can lead to God existing as three separate parts, and water's ability to be solid, liquid, and gas, which can lead to turning the Trinity into three modes of God's existence instead of three persons. At some point, the theologian must admit that we can't fully explain how God exists as a Trinity and that this is a mystery of the faith, but this isn't a cop-out in order to avoid answering important questions and objections. Many religious critics of the Trinity, such as Muslims, Jews, and many more, also believe in divine attributes that generate puzzles, but they don't abandon those doctrines just because human reason can't completely comprehend them. These Unitarians shouldn't scoff at the mysterious nature of the Trinity. After all, I highly doubt they could explain how God can make something from nothing and immaterially exist in all places without having to admit that these divine abilities are mysterious in some way. Other criticisms of the Trinity confuse something being mysterious with its being nonsensical and thus unworthy of belief. The Trinity cannot be fully comprehended or understood in every respect. Reasoning from the Scriptures says, should we really expect to understand everything about a person who is so great that he could bring into existence the universe, with all its intricate design and stupendous size? The Trinity is a mystery. A theological mystery refers to truths we would not know if God had not revealed them to us. It is like other mysteries of the faith, not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit. While this doctrine was revealed implicitly in the Old Testament, it becomes explicit in the New Testament through Christ and the teachings of his followers about the oneness of God. The Old Testament already deepened our understanding of God as Father, not as a literal man, but as the creator of the universe through whom all things owe their existence. But even apart from creation, God is eternally Father in relation to his only begotten, eternal Son, who is equally divine, and he is the Father who sends the Holy Spirit through the Son so that his work of creation and the Son's work of redemption is made complete in the Spirit's work of sanctification, or in making us holy. And so the doctrine of the Trinity helps remove some of God's mystery by explaining how God can be not just perfectly loving, but love itself. I once watched a Catholic from Lebanon engage a Muslim friend on the subject of whether Allah could be three persons. He asked his friend, "Does Allah perfectly love?" To which his friend said, "Of course." My Catholic friend then posed this question, "Well then, whom did he love before he created the world?" This Muslim couldn't answer the question. He could have said Allah, the Muslim word for God, perfectly loves himself. But most of us understand that love in its truest and highest form involves the giving of self to another person. In that sense, theologians have said the Trinity represents the Father's and Son's perfect love for one another. The Father eternally begets the Son, so there was never a time when the Father was without the Son. Moreover, the Father and the Son look upon one another from all eternity, beholding each other in perfect love, and utter what we might call a sigh of gladness. And the Church has taught us that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the divine, will inflamed, as it were, with love, and from this sigh, the Holy Spirit has existed for all of eternity in relationship between the Father and the Son. Well then, that will be all for the video this time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And I really do hope you've learned a lot from this short video. Remember, if there's any feedback or suggestion, please do let me know in the comments below. And until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.